What's up, Restoration Nation? This is Pastor Steve Harris, and I want to thank you so much for tuning into my podcast called Your Turn. And I am here on another day of quarantine with my darling wife, Anna Marie, also known as
Rhea. Hey, guys.
There we go. And basically, we are, well, it's been good and it's been ugly. Good has been, that we've been able to spend more time with each other. The bad is we're kind of limited to what we can do, and it has really put a cramp on some things. And I get stir crazy as it is because I work from home a lot anyway. And the balance is kind of very delicate. And honey, I don't know about you, but I know I showed you today, that in New Jersey, finally, they're opening up the parks,
Golf
and
courses.
they're also opening up golf courses. Well, I don't do golfing, and we do have some parks here, but very few. But I'm glad it's progress. On this date that we have here, April 29th, it looks like southern New Jersey, the coronavirus is on the upclimb. And the north, which was having a huge problem, which is connected to New York, is actually coming down some. So this is still going to be a process. A lot of restaurants are just doing takeout. People wearing masks. I mean, even going to a grocery store is just a chore.
Yeah.
And, I think about how in the stroke of a pen, a few executive orders, and all of a sudden our freedoms are taken away.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that for a minute. We say we live in a free country, and we're able to go and do, and our church, for the most part, has been shut down. I don't want to say shut down because we do a service from our living room weekly, and we broadcast like we would if we were to, to be out there doing our normal thing. But the people in our church, the closest we get to many of them is a Zoom Bible study. And I don't know, how do you feel, sweetheart? You sick and tired of me or what?
Well, it's put in place for our safety, is really why this is all, going down like this as far as the lockdown is concerned. But as far as, you and I being home and everything, because of the season that we're in our marriage of 21 years of marriage, and if, this may speak to married couples out there, we're in a season now where we've grown and we've really learned some things, some hard tests and stuff, where we are finally coming to a place where we can give each other, a little bit of space in the home that we have. And we need that. Like, I need my time, you need your time, and I don't have to be on top of you all the time and knowing what you're doing. And you don't have to be on top of me knowing what I'm doing. So it's making out for really, like you said, it's been wonderful, to be together like this. But, maybe years ago, we couldn't have said that.
Well, at the same time, we're blessed with a big house that our kids are older now and they're working, they're outside the home much.
True.
They're only here part of the time. So it does give us some avenues. I mean, I have my pool table. I've got darts in there in the garage, and I can spend time out there. And then I also have my drum room so I can play drums.
Yeah.
You can practice your keyboard, piano, whatever, singing. So we have that avenue of a backyard and so forth. But for the person out there or people that are in a small apartment or they're in a smaller home and all their family all of a sudden is there all day long, that's where my heart goes to.
Yes, the ones now that have the small children
who are homeschooling.
I have some women that I'm talking to throughout the day, and they're homeschooling and they got this and they have that, and they're trying to work from home and they got the kids having questions, and some of them have the real little ones. It's different seasons that people are in, We're in a season right now where, like you said, ours are grown and we're half empty nested, right? Over here, kind of?
Yeah. It's actually been kind of nice. Mm-hmm. And although I love our kids and, everything, it is kind of...
We went through that time. We had our season.
It was nice to have them when they were small, when, the house was always jumping and things were always going on and so forth. And then I also kind of like this season where it's like, okay, they're out part of the time and
Working.
Occasionally they're home and, they might be here and spend the night and do their thing. And, I don't know. It's kind of back and forth. But I guess what I'm trying to say about this whole thing is, what disturbs me is how our freedoms were robbed and taken away from us very easily. The freedoms that our forefathers fought for have been in an instant taken away because of a virus. Now, I'm not trying to get political here and trying to slight our governor, Phil Murphy, or President Trump, or Vice President Pence, or anybody else. But I will say this. In a stroke of a pen, all that changed. There are people... They've left the liquor stores open because there are people who are alcoholics, and if they suddenly don't have a drink, they could die because their liver just seizes up or whatever. Kind of seems like an oxymoron. It seems like a counterproductive thing. But at the same time, mental health is also a big deal. Because now all of a sudden, you could be laid off from your job indefinitely.
Like I was.
Or good. Like you are. You could be a business owner and all of a sudden you have no business because you can't operate.
Yeah, and of course this is not discounting, of course, what the healthcare, workers of all shapes and sizes are out there doing.
Sure.
To be on these front lines and can get exposed and affected and all that. And so our hearts, go out to anybody and everybody who's been affected in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It's just been something.
Yep.
So.
I think of the times that I just wanted to get up and go out and get a bite to eat and actually sit in a restaurant. Get out of the house, spend time with you, and be able to go into a restaurant. And now, even if we wanted to, if we had the means, we can't do that because they're all shut down. Now, we can order something and bring it back to the house, and that's fine. But there's something to that experience. And it's the same thing with church. We could broadcast online, and we will continue to no matter what, because that was the way we designed our ministry. We have a lot of people who listen online or watch. But you miss that camaraderie of the small group of people that we have in our church who kind of became family. And, a lot of them right now, I'm just watching growth in them, yes. But I'm also seeing that when you're not connected, you tend to drift.
Yeah. And it shows you the creature comforts of life that we get so used to. It's just part of life to be able to get up and run out the door, do what you got to do. Run your errands, go out to eat, go to movies, whatever. Go take a little day trip somewhere.
Yeah. Walk the mall. Just like the one time we went to Chick-fil-A and we had, what was it? We ordered through the drive-thru, and one of them was a big tent and the other one was the normal drive-thru.
Yeah.
And you had to pull up and pull in front of the building, and they brought your order out to you.
Because they were splitting it up by how you paid, right? One line was cash and one was card.
Credit.
And I think it might have been the same line for mobile orders,
So let's kind of zero this in here. From a faith perspective, there are many people out in the world right now that wish they could have church openly. But the minute they do, they could either put their lives in jeopardy or be in jail or, lose their life. Mm-hmm. And America here, we don't worry a lot about that. But when they started to make moves and started to say things like, the churches can't do this and that, there were some people, including myself, that were really upset about it. Now, I understand it and I respected it. But it's like, if you can do it with that, what's to say down the road they just say, you know what, we don't like these churches anymore. We don't like these mosques. We don't like these synagogues. Mm-hmm. And that's what concerns me. And I guess I want to close with this, honey. Let's never forget and take for granted the freedoms that we have.
Right.
And when this whole thing is restored and things go to a new normal, I don't think it's going to be normal. I think it's going to be a new normal.
Right.
And rightfully so in some cases. It should be better. But I just thank God for the freedoms that every time I get up and preach, every time I record this, every time I do a blog, I do a video or something, the mere fact that I can even do it without being persecuted per se, unless Facebook, or YouTube or whatever has their algorithm set on me. I just thank God for those freedoms.
Yeah, and I love what the Bible tells us, that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, and we have His Spirit that resides inside of us, and helps us through this. Really, He's our helper.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's our helper, and He's helping us through this time. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine the people, that don't know Him. Yeah. I have to say that. I really, because I was there at one point in my life, as you know. Mm-hmm. So were you. Mm-hmm. And it was a long time that we didn't. And if we were in that position now, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
The fear.
Yep.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole other thing. Well, on that note, that wraps up another podcast of Your Turn. And honey, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for letting me sit by your side, darling.
She plays that so nice. So,
bye, everybody.
Our website is rhmillville.org. rhmillville.org. We have social media all over the place: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, YouTube. It's all on there. So our podcast will also be on there too. So you can easily go to the website and grab them off of there. So I want to thank you guys again for joining. And don't forget, get restored.
Bye, y'all.